Hey guys, how you going today? Hope you're all having a lovely day. For today's video, I thought I would do a follow-up on one that I've previously done about my Sephora wish list. Only today I had a quick look at my Colourpop wish list. So I'm actually quite surprised when I wrote down all of the items that are on my list, because I thought that I would have a lot more on my Sephora wish list than I do for Colourpop. So wow, that lighting is terrible today. I'm having so many issues with lighting today, it's not funny. I wrote down all of the items on my Sephora wish list after I finished filming that video. I had just written them down on a piece of paper, but I thought, no, I'd like to have it on a list so that I can go back and, you know, have a look at it in 6 months' time and see if anything's changed or if there's anything different. And I've also done my Colourpop one, which I was quite surprised there are so many things on here. And where there are things where there are multiple colours, I've all listed them on the same item. So I haven't done a new item for each one. So there's quite a lot on there. Just gonna, whoop, there we go, that's better. Happy medium. So let's go through. I'll try and explain my thinking behind it all, but it was the same as with my Sephora video. I'd rather, you know, so let's go through. What was I going to say? So let's go through the list. I thought, you know, same as what I mentioned in the Sephora video, I would honestly rather go through and add things onto my wish list than, you know, feel like I just need to buy things all the time. And I know it's a lot more difficult with Colourpop than what it is with Sephora. Nowhere in Australia stocks Colourpop, so you have to buy it online. The last time I placed a Colourpop order, for a long time, a lot of these items have been on my wish list, and I mainly got on there to buy 3 things. So it was the Bare Necessities palette, the Disney Princess Luxe liquid lipstick, and the Sophia Nygaard lipstick. Well, I'd really gotten on there for 2 things. It was the palette and the Sophia Nygaard lipstick. There were a lot of things on my wish list, and I was pretty much just trying to add enough to get the free shipping. Otherwise, like, it was at the point where I'm like, it's going to cost me more if I don't add an item on to get those 2 items and to pay for shipping. So a lot of the items on this list were on my wish list at that stage, but they weren't the type or the kind of items that I felt like I desperately needed to have. Some of them are a lot newer than that. So, you know, there's a few that have been on there for a while. There are a few that are fairly new. So let's go through those. So 2 of the newer ones that are on here are the Mattifying Prime and Set Duo and the Hydrating Prime and Set Duo. Mainly because I do love primers, and I haven't actually tried any of Colourpop's base products. So, you know, primers, setting powders, foundations, concealers, any of that. So I had thought about adding the one of their foundations and one of the concealers. I think they're the fresh wear ones. But ordering things online for base colors, it's really tricky to kind of tell what your color would be. It's the kind of thing that you need to see in store to be able to make the best option. But I would like to give their priming and setting products a go. I do like to have a mix of between mattifying and hydrating. I do tend to get a bit dehydrated around the outside and very oily in the center of my face, so I think a combination of both of those would be a good idea. The next item I have kind of liked since I saw it, but I know I don't use body products, and it's the Mini Sol Glow Oil in Rosé. I can't remember if they brought out the glow oils or the shimmering oils first, and I do kind of like majority of them, but I do like the Rosé Glow Oil. But like I have body bronzing products here, but I just don't use them because I forget to put them on. The next item I do really like the sound of, and it's the BFF mascara in Plum and Get It. Now, I'm pretty much a brown mascara girl, brown or black mascara girl all the time. I do like a good brown one occasionally. It tends to just, you know, be something good for a bit of a change. So I do like the idea of plummy colours, because we know based on my past videos that I do love, you know, neutral colours, and, you know, even two of the palettes that I've got right in front of me now. They're just, you know, they're all my kind of colours, and I'd like to give it a go. So next item is the Beauty and the Beast kit with the highlighter and the Luxe liquid lip. Now, when they brought out the new Disney collection, I did kind of like the look of it, but there are only a few bits and pieces that I do like. And, oh, sorry, I'm not sure what's happening today. I've had coughs, I have had yawns, I don't know what's going on. I do have the Flynn Luxe liquid lip, and I do really like it. And with the colours and the swatches online, there are a few of them that I do like, but I think if I had them, I wouldn't really wear them. With the Beauty and the Beast kit, I do like both of those items. And the same with the, I think it's the Coronation highlighter and the Court of Miracles blush. I do like the looks of those as well. So they've made their way on here. As well as the Prince Charming Luxe liquid lip, which I'm not sure if that's in a set with the Coronation highlighter or not. I'm not 100% sure. So now on to my favorite part, which is lip products. Even though there's, you know, one or two lip products I've already mentioned, I love the look of the Ultra Glossy lip in My Pet, which was, I think, in the Disney Villains collection. I do have one of the Villains lip glosses, and it's in Shadow Man. I do quite like this one. I love the packaging on this. The only issue I have with this and that I don't like about it is that it's got a brush and not a doe foot, you know, applicator, which when I first got it and I opened it, I pulled the brush out and the bristles on the brush were splayed all over the different sides, like it had been just shoved in there, and the brushes, like the bristles, were bent when it was put into it. So it got to the point where every time I was putting it back in, it was getting worse and worse, so I actually had to cut some of the bristles off it. I do love the colour of My Pet. It's kind of like a cleary colour with just that glimmer and the shine and the colours underneath it, which is really nice. The next one is the So Juicy Plumping Gloss. Now, I don't have very full lips. I am a little bit self-conscious about that, you know, sometimes I think, oh, maybe I can go get, you know, fillers, but then I'm like, no, I don't think so. Maybe I should just get some plumping glosses. So I've had a look at these in the past, and they have been on there for quite a while. The one in particular that's on my list is in the shade QT, which I think would be very good just on its own or over the top of some other lip products as well. Next item on here is the Just a Tint Lip Vault. Now, I did like the look of a lot of the Just a Tint, you know, lip balms, lip colours, whatever you want to call them, when they came out, and I was having trouble deciding which ones I liked the best, but I didn't really think that I'd want to buy all of the individual sets. So when they brought out the Vault, it went on my list. With majority of this wish list, I think that they're the kind of things that if I can buy, you know, a few here or there over time, I'd be quite happy with that. That I'm not going to go and add everything into the basket and buy it all at once, because that would be very expensive. Unless, you know, for some miracle, you know, I win the lotto or something like that. But I still think it would be quite a lot to have all at once. So, speaking of duos, some of the Luxe Liquid lip duos, the newer ones, have made it on here. So I like the Hazy Baby set, Lofty Goals, and Puff Mummy. I have liked these since I first saw them originally come out with all of the sets. I was a bit iffy about, you know, which ones I'd like to add to the wish list until I recently saw the Beauty News girls do swatches of them, and the ones that were already on my wish list were the ones that I liked the most when they did the swatches. So next item is the Cream Luxe lipstick in Still Crazy. It's a colour that I have liked for quite a while, and I know it's really difficult to see with the swatches on the website versus how it does appear, you know, once you receive it. One of the things I'm very iffy about is with a few of the lippy sticks that I have, all three of them, I can never seem to get them to wear like they are showing on the website. They're always a lot darker, a lot more pigmented, and yeah, I'm just very iffy about the colours that I have picked. There are a few lippy sticks on my wish list though, and I think that I've added these colours on here because I know with the three that I have at the moment, I know what they tend to be like, and that how they're different to how they are on the website. So the few that are on here are Aquarius, Parker, Cami, Brink, Slacker, and Lumiere. I was just going through all the lippy sticks one day and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll add that, I'll add that, I'll add that, I'll add that, I'll add that one on there. I think if I was going to buy them, I wouldn't buy all 6 at once. I'd probably buy like maybe 2 at a time, give them a go. I know I've mentioned before I'm not 100% crazy about the lippy sticks formula, but you know, it is what it is. So moving on to eyeshadows. Thankfully that's all of my lipsticks that are on here, but you can see the list goes from up here to down here, so there are quite a few of the items on there. Eyeshadows, I've always liked the She's a Rainbow palette because I feel like it would fill in a lot of gaps that I do have within the eyeshadows that I have. I think I probably only have about maybe 5 green eyeshadows spread over 2 palettes and 1 Super Shock shadow. So there's not a lot that I can do with them because 3 of the colours are so similar, it's not funny. And same with blues. I think I only have maybe 3 or 4 blue eyeshadows, and there's not a lot of colour difference. Like there's not a light shadow and, you know, a mid-tone shadow. I've pretty much got, you know, the one that's in my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette, and well, the 2 that are in here, but even then this one's more of a purpley colour. So it would be good just to have those different shadows there. I don't have a lot of yellows either. I do have quite a few pinks, and today I'm realizing I do have quite a few oranges as well, but they're all kind of the same, you know, shades and tones. So I think that that palette would really expand on what I do have and would allow me that, you know, option to have more choices. The next one is probably a little bit of a contradiction because it is so similar to what I already have, and it's the Bye Bye Birdie palette. I know I showed you these 2 palettes earlier with, you know, the colours that they do have, but the ones in the Bye Bye Birdie palette, there's a few lighter ones which I probably do already have, and a few of the darker ones which I probably already do have, but You know, I thought when I got these two palettes that there were going to be a lot of double ups with them, but there's actually not. There are some subtle and not so subtle differences between the shades, even when you swatch them, you know, arm to arm with the colours that you think are going to be exactly the same, they're not. So I do like the look of that one, and I do also like the look of the Butterfly Effect palette. Now that is my kind of palette. It's got the pinks, it's got the purples, it's got the oranges, it's got the neutral colours, and quite a few of the shadows in that one were already on my list of shadows that I would put into my build your own palette. So there are a few that I don't think that I would really love, like the pressed glitters. I'm not a pressed glitter kind of fan. I don't wear glitter. It's just not me. But the light shimmery colours and the purples and the browns, I just love it in that palette. So last item I have on here is my singles. So I have been planning out a build your own palette for so long, and each time I go to do it I write down all of the singles that I would add in there. You know, I want to have a mix of neutrals and colours, you know, colours that I don't have, like greens and blues, which is very difficult because there aren't that many on the singles list. I mean, yes, they have their blue and their green 9-pan palettes, and they do have a couple of blues and a couple of greens, but we're talking maybe 2 or 3 blues, 2 or 3 greens, you know, a couple of shimmers, a couple of mattes, and that's it. But they're not the kind of colours that I would wear, which was why I do like the She's a Rainbow palette, because there are different ones in there than what are in the singles option list. And there are a few options and colours that I do like in the 9-pan palettes, but I don't like all of them, and I don't think I would need 9 blue eyeshadows or 9 or 18 green eyeshadows. There are really, out of those palettes, maybe only 2 or 3 that I would like out of each, but they're not available on the singles list. So majority of the other items on the singles list are that I do like are, you know, the browns. There's a few yellows in there and a couple of oranges and golds that I do really like as well. And I've put in a combination of, you know, mattes, shimmers, and duochromes. So I'm just going to quickly read through the list. I do have it all written here, and I will try and link it all in the description box as well. So I've picked Come and Get It, Flower Boy, Board Shorts, Mr. Sandman, High Society, Paradiso, Lost and Found, Party Favors, Martian Chauffeur, Gridlock, Neutrino, Silver Lining, Material Girl, Ringer, Heavenly, Pretty Cruel, Snake Eyes, Centerfold, Ivy League, Baseline, and Earthshine. So at the moment they're all on my list so that I can keep track of what ones I do like. I've had it in the past where I had items on the wish list before and they went out of stock, so I removed it. Then they came back into stock and then I couldn't remember what they were. I think a few of the ones on my list at the moment are reduced to $2.25, which means that they're possibly being discontinued, and there are a couple that are out of stock, but I'm going to keep them on there in case they do come back, because I don't want to have to go through and relist everything again. A lot of these, like Come and Get It, Mr. Sandman, Paradiso, Snake Eyes, Centerfold, Baseline and Earthshine, and Chauffeur and Martian, and also Ringer, have been on my wish list for well over a year, because I've planned out build your own palettes probably 2 or 3 times in the past, and they've made it through every single one. It's just that the in-between and the other shades, like the blues and the greens and some of the browns, are discontinued, and then they bring them back and then they discontinue them again. So they'll stay on my list until I eventually get around to being able to afford to do a build your own palette. You know, if some of them are discontinued, I'll try and find ones that are in the list that are, you know, fairly similar. You know, it's really great that they do have the description of what kind of shade they are in there, and that you can really get a good idea of, you know, what it's going to be like, because sometimes when they you know, when colours arrive, they don't exactly look like what they do with the shots on the website as well. And I have mentioned that in the past before about, you know, items that are online. So let me know what you think, if there's anything on your wish list, anything you think that I should add to mine, or, you know, I should take off of my wish list because you've had experience with it, and whether it's good, whether it's bad, let me know. But until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye.